Holy moly, first game is in the books. Raiders got the job done over the Warriors 30-8, and boy, I feel like I got away with one in this game. And as soon as we came out and saw Horsburgh went offload, they didn't want to, cover the ball. That was tough viewing, and at 39 in 31 minutes, I was very, very sad, especially early on, just seeing all those offloads pop out. And thank goodness it was, they kept it away. And they went for the ball for the rest of the game, which was helpful. Wasn't helpful for them winning, though. And the Wars were very, very poor. And in the end, I did end up taking Hosking. We had the news around Horsburgh that, Smithies was not going to be starting. And in that scenario, Papali'i was likely to play in the front row rotation. We just didn't get the exact word on it. But, it was pretty well that they were all just middles. And then Horsburgh at one point went to play some 13, and Smithies actually, he ball played a little bit more at certain times, is what I should say, because he's not really much of a ball playing type of guy, but they've obviously worked out that he's going to be the bigger minute middle for him. Smithies actually played some big minutes anyway and came on and played the rest of the game at 58 minutes. And what about the cheeky 54 from Morgan Smithies? But yeah, let's get on early and chat about this game, because there was a lot of good fantasy points and a lot of talking points on the Warriors side, especially, that were super frustrating. And turns out it was the exact same as last year. You need to start with 1 million Raiders. And for those that did, for those that end up taking Starling, Hosking, Horsburgh, Fogarty, you end up in a really good position. Obviously, Civilio Tamale. Whew, what a hot man, that's for sure. So let's go through the scores and then get to the talking points as we go. And Xavier Savage, it looks like he's taken a massive leap in this offseason. He looked really even bigger and stronger. And 7 tackle breaks, 218 run meters was absolutely perfect for him with the 2 tries. The 7 tackle breaks, a couple of turnover tackles just to add to the top score of the game with the 70 for Xavier Savage. So a 379k. If anyone did take him, please let me know in the comments, because that was an absolute masterstroke of a pick. And we do have to think about, obviously, the quality of opponent they did come up against. It was the Wars, who didn't look very good, unfortunately, at all in this one. So they will come up against some tougher opponents, and they'll have closer matchups where he's not going to go absolutely bonkers. But at 379, he'll end up over 400k following this game, because that's the difference in fantasy to Supercoach, is that the prices change straight away. It doesn't happen in Supercoach like that exactly. All right, the man I did end up bringing in instead of Horsburgh, for those that saw my video earlier today, and thanks for checking that one out. There's plenty of people that have jumped in already. But Hosking didn't end up needing the 80 minutes in the end to be a tremendously dominant scorer. 65 for him in this one in 66 minutes with, end up no negatives. They had him on 1 missed tackle, which I agree, they took it away. Wasn't a missed tackle. I didn't know when he had the penalty, but yeah, play on. 65 for him with 108 run meters. I think that's great. If he can get anywhere near that type of number. There was one run there where he almost broke through, and it was a great one-on-one tackle from his opposing number, CHT, I believe. And that could have been a tackle break and potentially an offload or something like that, or even a try if he managed to get through from about 20 out. So that was really cool. But what we love about Hosking and why I just enjoy buying him, and why I ended up taking him, is he's just such an easy watch. He gets out there, he makes his tackles. If he's on the park long term, he's just a dominant fantasy scorer. 44 tackles for no misses is what you're looking for. And then you look at guys like Horsburgh, and you're looking for them as an all-round game. He's got to make his tackles. He's going to get involved with running the footy. He'll have some sideways runs, and he looks to offload. So there's a slightly different game, Hosking to Horsburgh, obviously on the edge compared to the middle. But the way that they play, it just looks like fantasy points, and it feels great, and that's exactly what you want to look for in the early parts. So I'm very, very happy that I did take Hosking in the end. Turns out, I had, as I said in the video today, I had Horsburgh in my earlier draft as of yesterday. Before yesterday morning, and then I made the changes yesterday morning to Hosking, just because I thought if he was going to be named here, he'd be a must-have at the end of last season. I mentioned that. So I did change back, but I'm glad I did in the end. I did beat Horsburgh by 10, so that was a win on that front. What I'm more sad about is the fact that I didn't take both. And the reason I didn't take both, I was talking to a few guys in the private crew. And if you are interested still in signing up for that, guys, you can jump into the overall leagues. We have mini competitions in terms of knockouts, in monthly winners, a winner from round 1, heaps of good stuff. So you need to be in there at least following these 2 games, or hopefully once you see this, I've reduced the prices to show that there's no head-to-head comp. So jump in that. All the info is in the description for that one. So yeah, super excited about Hosking. Let's go straight to Horse while we're here. 55 for him in 59 minutes. And as I said, 39 in 31. And thankfully for me, missed a couple of tackles. But did come back on and he got that turnover tackle late. And I'm very much hoping for a try saver. But it looks like, when I'm saying I'm hoping for a try saver, I'm hoping for a try saver from Tamale, who I thought made a really good one-on-one tackle on the fish. About 8 out and carried him to the line. I'm not sure if they'll give that just for the fact that, first contact was so far out. But at this stage, they haven't given any try savers, and I think they might credit one to Tamale and to Horsburgh. So I'm a little bit worried about that on the Horsburgh side, but I've got Tamale, so I'm happy if they can give him that one on that standpoint. But yeah, thankfully a couple of negatives for Big Red, but yeah, still upset that I don't own him, but at least he's someone that we can target next week, and he won't be, he's still going to be under 600k. It's not going to be anything crazy, and the minutes are there. So I am personally expecting somewhere between that 50 to 60 now, 65 on a good day. If things, they didn't have any injuries in this one. They ended up having Joe Tarpany in the last 10 minutes or something, or 15 minutes, get sin binned, but that didn't affect... I don't think that didn't affect any of the rotations, because guys like Hosking had just come off already, and Horsburgh's just about to come back on, or it kind of happened at the same time. However that worked, Sasangi came on and took off Hosking, kind of like expected. I was hoping he didn't, but I was also happy with the 65 there. So yeah, Big Red, I think he's a big target next week, and then Hosking's a big target next week as well. Although you do have to worry that, we've seen all the stats with him under 70 minutes. It's not as perfect, but he seems to play really, really well as a starting edge player in the short amount of time that he's been a Raider. Horsburgh, it's going to be a fun one, that's for sure. How are you going to play this one? Are you going to try and get both of them in? If you don't have either, is it Horse or Hosking? Let me know in the comments, guys, and love to interact with you in that and see what your thoughts are. Please subscribe and follow, guys. It's been an absolutely hectic preseason. I'm loving every moment of it, and a big appreciation to all of you guys. Heading into round 1, it was a scary and nervous prospect coming into it. I know a lot of you guys that are obviously watching the videos, you're putting in the time, you're putting in the effort, and it game day, hey, good fun. And I did end up selecting Isaiah Yeo as my captain, so I'm excited for that and also nervous for that one at the same time. And I have offsetted that one with having Cleary as my vice in Supercoach. So yeah, that's that. Matt Timoko, 62 for him. I actually had him as a bounce back candidate this year, but at 5'10", it did end up getting hard to pick him for a lot of people. And if you did, let me know in the comments as well. I think he looked great, and we just know that he had a shoulder problem at the back end of last year. Hudson Young, 59 for him. A real tremendous effort, and there's a lot of back and forth through the middle. So you can see great scores from Young, obviously from Hosking on the other side. Both those guys not having any attacking, apart from Hosking with his try assist. That was a tremendous effort, obviously, with a great pass early on, which went to Timoko, and he ran the length. And thankfully, he didn't pass back on the inside, so we get that try assist, which is good. Hardy Young, we know he can have these great scores. And unfortunately, last year, he dropped a fair bit in price, and you could pick him up cheaper. But this year, not the case so far with a 59 up front. Fogarty, 55 for him with no try assist is pretty wild, to be honest with you, how that one's played out. So congrats to anyone who did start with him. You do get a little bit of a bump on his price next week. 527 kick meters, a turnover tackle. He did have 4 errors in the end, which is pretty wild. A few bounce backs and different things that happened with him that were unfortunate. And then a couple of normal errors on that front as well. With 5 goals, great tackle numbers as always, and kick meters to get him 55. It's an impressive situation that he's got himself in. And unfortunately for Metcalf on the other side, it's not the same. Wade Egan with a 55 for him, basically all in tackles. So very impressive for him to go 49 and 2 misses. So well done to Egan and any of his owners. He was obviously a little bit underpriced, but was he going to be getting 80 minutes? It looked like with this bench, he was a good chance to, and that's exactly what happened. And shout out to Smithies as well, 40 tackles for 1 miss, similar to his efforts last year, but in this case, he had the less minutes. Oh, Tamale, the hot tamale train is well and truly left the station. Oh my goodness. Dual position, 300k, 49 or 54 we're going to end up with. And I saw Supercoach had him at like 11 tackle breaks in the end, which was pretty cool. Unfortunately for me, it wasn't a cracking start in Supercoach. Just the horse for me and Metcalf, and only the 6 they give him. So a tough time on that front there. But yeah, some good numbers for Tamale there, 73. And I was like, well, if I'm starting with him in fantasy, I'll leave him out of the Supercoach side for now. And with prices not changing straight away, if he keeps the spot, it's an easy bring in. I think that was the strategy with a lot of Supercoaches. So I followed that one, and that was a mistake, sadly. But with him, I'm so excited. He can't be dropped. He was awesome. He did fire off one offload, and sort of first, second play of their set, which he did pass into Stranger's face. So that was tough on that front for sure. Would have been nice if he got the offload to hand, which he didn't even, you get the offload to ground, which is weird because they usually get it when he passes it to their face. If they drop it, whatever it is, you just get the offload to hand. So I don't know if they're changing that this year, because if you offload to them and they drop it, it's not your fault, basically. So yeah, that was that one. But I'm very happy with him. Let's find out if he gets named next week. I think he should, and he deserves to after this. I personally had him at a 75 to 80% chance before the game to hold next week, and now I've got him at about a 95. I think he was great, and to have that kind of punch coming out of back play, and obviously picked up the 2 line breaks, one where he went about 60 meters, which he did drop the ball in that scenario as well, or get it stolen off him. But a great game for him. I'm so excited to have him in the side. Barnett and Fish, let's go for that combo now. And this was pretty disgusting, to be honest with you. To have both of those guys off the park for like 20 minutes at one stage there. Like Barnett was off in the 22nd minute. And thank goodness for him. He came back on and played the last 30 minutes or close to a 29 or whatever it was. And he did pick up 31 fantasy points. So just a tick over a point a minute in that back end. But for him to go 47 in this game and only 52 minutes is super frustrating. And a lot of people ended up switching. Like I heard some people switching from Isaiah Yeo to Barnett late. And I'm like, it hurts. A lot of people ask me, are you changing Yeo to Barnett? Are you getting Barnett in? I'm like, whoa. Let's hold the phone, guys. He's a solid player, but I haven't been on him all preseason. So that move to lock, you could look at that and go, oh, maybe he's going to get to the Yeo minutes, or he's going to get to 70 minutes and stuff like that. But there's no one out there like Isaiah. There isn't. There's not. And Barnett, I actually personally was expecting in the mid-60s, sort of 63 to 66 minutes type of thing. And I expected more minutes from Fisher Harris as well. But Coach Webster just decided to play forward for 51 minutes straight. And in what world is he playing more minutes than Fisher Harris? It's just absolutely disgusting. And that needs to be looked into for Webster. I don't know what's going on with that front. To have your 2 best forwards, Barnett and Fisher Harris, play these low minutes in a game where at one stage it was fairly close. And, then Raiders put on a bunch of points. And a lot of this was when these boys were off the field. So pretty bad decision in my opinion. Obviously for Barnett, people are like, oh, is he actually injured and stuff like that? Because he had that big stretch of minutes off, the 30 minutes off in that middle period. And that's when Fisher Harris went off as well. So yeah, for those guys are way too important. And I do imagine that he will change the way this goes next week. I expect Barnett and Fisher Harris next week to go well over the 50 minutes for Fish and closer to the 60 minutes for Barnett, because I don't think it worked the way they would have wanted in that one. So 47 for Barnett. Thankfully, you get out of it okay. It's not the end of the world. He's priced at a 53. And for Fish, you get out of it with a small price bump as well. So again, not the end of the world, but we expected more, especially, as an owner of a few of these guys, you would be frustrated with the fact that their minutes weren't anywhere near what you expected. And, some people will be like, oh, I thought Fisher Harris was going to get 46 minutes. Yeah, of course he were. Oh, he's winding down his career at the Warriors, like all these things. It's just not happening. It's not happening that way, and it can't after this. They played too poor for those guys to not be on there for more minutes, at least 5 minutes more each, and staggering it in a way that you have at least one of your leaders on the park. Just seemed like a massive mistake. Yes, they were down like 14, 16 at the time, but yeah, get them on. Seb Chris, 47. So basically with those two, don't rush out to sell them. Definitely not. With Seb Chris, 2 tries for him. Wish he passed that one to Tamale, but it might have been intercept, like we saw on the other side with Metcalf. Poor fella. Poor fella. Tough game. Jackson 4 we mentioned, 46 for him. Starling, very, very impressive 45 for him with that lovely line break. Picked up a tackle break, I think, in there as well, 1 or 2. But picked up 60 odd meters. So with the line break, you're looking at a 12 to 14 point play. And for him with those minutes, tackle numbers is where his bread's buttered. He did make 30 for 3 misses, and that's usually a better number for him. He has the odd real bad game for tackles, but not really. So if you did start with Starling, absolutely happy days. He played to a 650. Sorry, not a 650. He played to closer to a 600 type price point, which is similar to where Fish was. Fish is only a slight bit improvement, isn't he? Or bang on. Yeah, 44 is like bang on. It's hard to work out now with the numbers changing. It used to be 700k for 50, and now it's 670 for a 50. So Starling, if he continues this, he's going to make 150k, which is absolutely awesome. So well done to Starling owners in that one. Anyone who owns Roger, you picked up a try in that one, and that helped you get to a solid score of 43. And I do know a bunch of people selected him in Supercoach, and he picked up a 65 in that one as well. So congrats to owners on that front. Just to get that late try and 200 meters there. He did miss that try earlier where he just a little bit of an air swing, which was shocking. But that's that with Roger as well. And guys, if you are new to the channel, I do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday reviews on all the games. So I'll go through it like this, and over the first sort of 3 to 4 weeks, you'll see longer, deeper reviews post-game, just because we don't know a lot of the information. It's all new to us, and we're trying to decipher it as we go. And I feel like this is the best way, especially if you're busy on weekends. Just make sure you can over the first few weeks, just get an idea on all the players, what I think of them, and that'll put you in a good mindset and a good mind frame to know what's going on and go from there. Oh, that Chanel Harris to beat a 40, that's tough. Tarpane 41 with the sim bin at the end. So that was pretty rough on him. He would have played the 54 minutes, basically, which is where he normally is at. So he was on 47, a runnable 47 into 46 minutes, which is exactly where you'd expect. I don't think many grabbed him anyway, which is cool. Chanel Harris Tavita, I think he played well enough to keep his spot. Metcalf was the one in some danger. Chanel had the 250 kick meters, and he did see Metcalf have 339. So it was a bit of about a 60-40 split. Metcalf to Harris Tavita on that front, and we know when Harris Tavita gets the bigger kick meters into the 200s, he's actually a pretty solid scorer because he defends fairly well, and he picked up a try assist in this one, running the footy a little bit also with 1 offload. So Chanel at 353, if you did jump on him instead of Metcalf, let us know in the comments. Give it to us because I am a Metcalf owner. And for those that did say that Metcalf was going to be a flop, there's no world, sorry, not a flop. Metcalf wasn't going to be 100% lock-in, 100% worth the pick. You were right on this one, but it was never expected to be this bad. You can have quiet games, and thank goodness he had an absolute mare of a game, Metcalf, and he did pick up 25 points. So shout out to him on that one. He did pick up 6 missed tackles and 2 errors. Still ran the footy for 76 meters and had the 339 kick meters. Missed both his goals. So there will be games that they get on a bit of a roll. He'll have at least 4-6 points of goals. He'll get a try assist. He'll get an odd tackle break. He'll defend a little bit better. He won't have 2 errors that are shocking. You turn a couple of those things around, and it's a mid-30 score. He's making a little bit of money, but instead it's a 25 and you're a bit sad. But at least it wasn't a 6 or 5, whatever it is, in Supercoach that I copped in that one. So I'll take the 25. Won't take it to the bank. We're going to lose some cash on that one, but not the end of the world either. So some people are going to launch into him as a sell. I think he's going to be better for the run. That's for sure. He can't play worse. The big issue here is going to be if he loses his spot to Tanner Boyd. And then I think a lot of people will buy Tanner Boyd. So super tough. I really like the kid. Feel my mates are good mates with him. So yeah, my condolences go out to him in that game. He wanted to step up as a 7 and just wasn't the case in this one. So very sad for him on that front. And you can decide what you want to do. If something comes up, if you've got cash, you want him to Horsburgh, I understand all that as well. Then you have Ethan Strange with a 39. Played really good. I was happy with his efforts. Not fantasy relevant. Probably Eve 38. So these are the minutes I expect from him. About that 39 mark for Josh. So that worked out about what we expected. Played 40 to 41 last year. KO Weeks 33. Looked pretty solid. Had some good ball play to get the ball to Hosking for that try assist. So thank you for that, KO Weeks. Dylan Walker, he did end up playing off the bench. along with Clark, and they split minutes 48 and 47. So literally about what I expected for both those guys. I was thinking 45 to 50 for both of them. That's exactly what happened. PPM was terrible for both of them. And we know that for Walker. We've seen Clark in certain situations in a very short span of time have a point a minute at lock, but this wasn't that game. For one, obviously this type of game isn't going to be perfect for him. The fact that there should be a lot of tackles for him in the middle is a little bit alarming, given he had 23 for 2 misses. No tackle breaks. Didn't want to chance his arm too much. He did have one offload near the end there, and ended up with 130 meters. So the meters was good. Tackles, you need that a bit higher if you're looking for him to be a 45 guy. So for now, I hope he did jump off once he got moved to the bench as well. But we thought anyway that he'd be somewhere near that mid-40s minutes anyway. And we do think that obviously starting, it seems to be a lot more fast-paced through the middle, and you get a lot more runs, a lot more tackles, and that's great. So that can be expected from Clark if he was to start, but it looks like that's not the case right now unless they change things next week. Metcalf we spoke about. Mariota got 26 minutes off the bench. We saw Niokore play 55. So again, Halasima came on and played that other 25, I believe, or close to it. We'll get to him soon. Where is he? 20, yep. So he played the other edge minutes. So there's 80 minutes between those two, which is good to know for anyone in a Waz uniform that you do own, I think. Mariota played through the middle for 26 minutes for 23 points. We'll expect that. Kirk Capewell did play 67 minutes. He had 8 missed tackles though, so pretty gross on his front, and what at the cheeky try on the edge. Not a good situation there either. 23 run meters for Capewell, and one of them includes a try. So tough viewing on that front for him as well. Taintul Piki copped a knock in the back end. Looks like he's okay. Played the rest of the time. Ale Leataua just never had any good ball like he did in the trial. So that's frustrating for him to go 11 tackles for 3 misses. Not the end of the world in a game where they got whacked. But no offloads, 2 tackle breaks, no attacking stats, 19 points. And I was a little bit worried about him coming out and actually destroying it. And it was the opposite because the Wars were very, very bad. And Chance looks as well at the back, 18 points for him. Couple of missed tackles, couple of errors. Just sad viewing, to be honest with you, on that front. And a shout out to Owen Paddy out there getting 19 minutes, making 21 tackles. So, yeah, he got the 19 minutes. And Starling actually moved to the middle for a little bit as well. So that, spells some good viewing for anyone who did decide to buy him. Tommy Starling, Halasima with 17, Valmarga with 14 minutes. So, ended up being, thankfully, I did take him out of my Supercoach team in the end, late, very, very late, last 5 or 10 minutes. And just thinking that with that bench, like, you've got 2 guys clearly ahead of him, big minute guys in the middle. Yeah, just decided to steer it clear. And I'm glad I did in the end. Did pick up an offload, 8 tackles, and obviously just 14 minutes, not enough. Like, he was a point a minute, but it's gross. And it's Sasangi with 12 in the 15 minutes. So overall, not a good situation. And shout out to the guys in Supercoach, Savage, Strange, Chris, Tamale, Starling, Timoko, Young, Hosking, and Horsburgh all going over 60. And if you are newer to Supercoach, what you will see, guys, is the offloads ineffective. Go to effective offloads. They do that sort of within 24 hours or so. They'll update those offloads, and you'll see Horsburgh go up to the high 60s, which would be cool. And on the other side, it was tough viewing. Barnett at 49, Wade Egan at 41. Yeah, he had a great one in fantasy, but not so much in Supercoach, and hopefully we can get a upgrade on that Metcalf try assist to save him, to get to him about a 20. But looks like at the moment he'll be coming out of my side in round 1, his score anyway. So that's tough on that front. So thanks so much for being here for that update. The first game of the year. I hope you enjoyed it at least. I thought it was great footy from the Raiders, especially, not so much the Wars. And if you're a Wars fan, commiserations to you, and hopefully it does improve next time they play. I can't actually remember who it is, but next time they play. Thanks so much for being here, guys, and we'll catch you in the next Fantasy and Supercoach update.